Are you considering moving to Kansas City and curious about what kind of weather we have here? Well, in today's video, we're going to discuss all things Kansas City weather. We're going to talk about average temperatures, the 4 seasons, and even tornadoes. Coming right up.
Welcome back to our channel. We are Janie and Jeremy with the Snider family group at Keller Williams Realty Partners in Overland Park, a suburb of Kansas City.
If this is your first time to our video, or if you've watched lots of our videos, do us a favor, go ahead and hit that thumbs up icon to give us a like, and write down in the show notes where you're from. We'd like to know where our videos are being watched.
That's right. And when we work with people who are not from Kansas City,
Right.
They often ask a lot of questions about the local weather. Understandably, they want to know what they're getting into.
Yep.
And we referenced this just a little bit in our most viewed video,
Right.
which are the top 10 reasons to live in Overland Park. And we mentioned in that video that one of the best things about this part of the country is we get to truly enjoy all 4 seasons. And there's a lot to enjoy with Midwest weather, and so we just want to talk about a few more details about that.
The most pleasant months in Kansas City are May, June, and September, where the average temperatures range between 75 to 80 degrees.
That's right. In January, not too surprisingly, has the coldest temperatures with an average right around 20 degrees. There are about 100 days annually when the nighttime low is below freezing. So it does get cold, of course.
It does.
Yeah.
It does at night. So, now the coldest day ever in Kansas City. It's interesting that we're recording this today because here in Kansas City, it's -8 degrees, and according
For the high.
For the high was -8 degrees today, which is, according to the radio today, said it is the coldest it's ever been in Kansas City in 30 years. Yeah. So it's pretty cold outside. Now, the coldest day ever in Kansas City was, let me look at my dates here, December 23rd, 1989, where the temperature that day was negative 23 degrees. Now, that's 1989. Do you remember that?
I should, but I'm sure that I've blocked it from my memory.
I don't remember that day, but we were probably inside all day.
Without a doubt, without a doubt, yes. So in a typical year, Kansas gets about 15 inches of snow throughout the whole season. And December is the snowiest month.
Yeah.
That surprised me.
Sure.
I would have guessed February, but the research showed December is actually the snowiest month in Kansas.
Now, speaking of precipitation, Kansas City gets around 42 inches of snow each year, and May is the rainiest month. So I guess the saying should be that May showers bring June flowers.
I guess.
Now, the most rain recorded in one 24-hour period of time was September 12th, 1977, where it rained almost 9 inches in one day.
I cannot imagine. I would have been very worried about my basement that day. I just cannot imagine. So we've talked about the cold.
Yep.
It also gets very hot.
Very hot.
In Kansas. And July is the hottest month of the year with an average temperature being 88 degrees. That's hot.
Yeah, that
and
is
it's
hot.
just the average.
Sure.
So you mean, and there are actually 32 days annually where the temperature high is over 90 degrees. It gets intense. Now, before you did this research, if you would have had to have guessed, how many days a year would you have said Kansas City gets at or above 100 degrees for the high?
Above high. Well, I used to work for a company, and they required all their men to always wear long sleeve shirts, ties, and sport coats, even in the summer.
You look nice that way.
Oh, I did. That drove us crazy. So I was guessing throughout the summer had to have been at least 14 days where it was over 100 degrees.
Right. Well, and I would have guessed 7.
Okay.
We were both wrong.
Sure.
So it actually only gets into the triple digits on average 3 days per year. Okay. So it must just feel like it's way more than that.
Sure.
But 3 days isn't too bad. I guess we can handle that. The hottest day ever recorded in Kansas City was August 13th, 1936. No, I don't remember that. He always asks. I don't remember that day. And it was 113 degrees, actual temperature.
That's hot.
Yeah.
That's hot. 100 is hot. 88 is hot. But what really makes Kansas City weather miserable is the humidity.
Sure.
Humidity affects me differently than it affects people with hair.
That's right.
But Janie, talk a little bit about Kansas City and the humidity.
Yeah, so we have a lot of moisture in our air here in Kansas City, and that makes humidity levels very high. So those of us who care about what our hair looks like on those hot, humid days, you start out looking nice, and as the day goes on, your hair just grows and grows and grows and gets out of control. It's just kind of pointless. But on a more serious note, humidity is an issue inside our homes because, boy, if you've got a little bit of mold and it's a hot, humid season, that little bit of mold can just turn into a big problem. So strongly recommend running a dehumidifier in your basement all summer long when the humidity levels are high. That'll help prevent a lot of problems.
Okay. Yeah. Let's move our attention now and talk a little bit about tornadoes. Everyone always thinks Kansas City has tornadoes. I'm sure we can thank Wizard of Oz for making the whole world think that Kansas has nothing but tornadoes. We've lived in Kansas City our whole lives, and as adults, we've taken cover 4 times during a tornado
in the last
season.
20 years.
The last 20 years. Last 20 years. So, and we've never had any property damage.
Thank goodness.
So, yeah. Now that being said, tornadoes do happen. Kansas City is in the epicenter of Tornado Alley. I've got some dates here. In May of 2019, a tornado did do some significant damage to a small town outside of Kansas City. And then in May of 2003, and I remember this, I was at work when this was happening, one of the most damaging tornadoes in Kansas City history hit what we call the Northland. It's pretty much the north and the west part of the Kansas City metro.
Right, yeah. So they are a real thing, but not something to constantly live in fear of, I guess, was how I would describe it. So it's interesting because this past year, 2020, the year we just finished, according to our local NBC affiliate, there were no tornado watches in the Kansas City area last year. That surprises me. I would have thought that we have them several times a year, every year. Last year just must have been a calm year, according to that news source. But the good news is we do have watches, we do have warnings, there's notice. When a storm is coming, and it's all over the news, and so you have plenty of time to take shelter, whether it's in a basement or in a stairwell or wherever you can get to safety. I've always felt like there's been plenty of time, and it's not something, you take it seriously, but like I said, you don't have to live in fear.
It doesn't come out of it nowhere.
Exactly. So, and I just think of tornadoes as our weather thing to be aware of, just like the West Coast has earthquakes to think about and to be aware of, and the northern part of the country has blizzards and heavy winter events like that, and of course the East Coast and the South have hurricanes to deal with. So all parts of the country have different weather issues. Tornadoes happens to be ours, and thank goodness it just has not strongly affected us or our loved ones during our time here.
That's true. Now, what I'd like to do, you've been in real estate, in Kansas City real estate, for over 20 years. So with all the changing seasons and different weather types here in Kansas City, what are some things homeowners need to be diligent of with home care?
Oh, sure. It's so important to maintain your home for all these weather events that we're talking about. So in the winter time, we do get snow, we do get ice, and it stays cold for a long time. So we have ice jams that happen in our gutter systems, and it's important to be aware of that, to know how to deal with it, because when those ice jams melt, the gutter system can't keep up with it, and they're going to come into your house, causing water leaks in the house. So be aware of that. In the spring, like we talked about, even if we don't have tornadoes, we do have heavy rainstorms and high winds to deal with. So you got to make sure your roof is in good shape and taken care of. You've got to make sure that you have your sump pump is in good working order. And if you don't know what a sump pump is, you're going to know when you move to Kansas City what that is, and you're going to make sure that isn't going to go out on you during a big storm. You're going to make sure that your gutter downspouts pull that water way away from your house, so it's not dumping it right against your foundation, so that all of a sudden you have a basement full of water. So again, maintenance, take care of those things to prevent big issues. In the summer, we talked about the heat and the mold, and being cognizant of that, and some things you can do to help prevent that from becoming a problem. And then in the fall, I imagine all of our big, beautiful trees full of the leaves. It's gorgeous here in the fall, but the downside to that is all those leaves are going to come down, and you've got to keep them cleared out of your gutters. Even if you have gutter guards, people think they're fine. They're not fine. Somehow those leaves and debris find their way into the gutters. You have to clear out your gutters so they can do their job. And then you have to keep your trees trimmed. We do it every 2 to 3 years. And that way those trees are not brushing up against your house or roof in the big winds. And in the really bad storms, when it helps prevent your trees hopefully from breaking. Because when trees fall, they can fall on your house. They can fall on your car.
They can fall on your neighbor's car.
They can fall on your neighbor's car. It's no fun. So a little bit of maintenance and just knowing what to be aware of during the season. Different seasons can help prevent huge headaches and big expenses for bigger problems that those things could cause.
Now, we've been talking about several of the crazy weather that happens in Kansas City. I would say, though, a majority of the days in Kansas City are beautiful, they're wonderful, you're able to get outside and have a great time. You know, Kansas City is a great place to work, to play, to raise a family. And if a move to Kansas City is in your near future, reach out, give us a call. All of our contact information is in the show notes below. Anything we can do, that's what we're here for.
That's right. We would love to help you out.